Hey guys, Erica with a K here. Today's video is completely unplanned. I don't even have notes for it, but I just felt so inspired to do this video, so that's what I'm going to do. Don't mind the cut on my nose. My makeup bag actually fell on it the other day while I was in the middle of doing prom, and I just had to keep on keeping on, and it definitely damaged my nose. And if you happen to hear my dogs, they're like right around this area. You're probably going to hear them. They're hitting into the camera. They're being cray. Okay, so what today's video is going to be on is about raising your prices as a hairstylist. Now, I literally just did this. I was thinking about doing it for the longest time. Actually, last year in March, so now it's kind of like, it's a little over a year, I had raised my prices, and I've raised them very, very little because I didn't want to lose any clients. This time around, I was going to do the same thing. I was like, you know what, I'm going to raise my prices like $5 for this, $5 for that. And my husband was like, no, you're not, because you're barely even making minimum wage. As a hairstylist, when you actually take into consideration the amount of hours that are spent on your feet and everything like that, like you realize real quick that you're actually like way undercharging yourself if you're doing discounts. There's a reason why everybody pretty much charges the same thing in your area, and that's because that's the price that it should be charged. So I had found a lot of my clients through like tag sale sites and stuff like that where I was offering 50% off. And then as time went on, I liked the people and I would give them like, oh, I'll just do this for free, or I'll just do this kind of a discount. And then they would refer their friends and I would do pretty much for free for them too. So then I got to a point where I was working 6 days. I had 1 day off, and then I was working another 6 days straight, and I was barely making minimum wage. And that's when something just snapped in my head and I was like, I need to seriously raise my prices. I ripped the band-aid off and just do it. So I did a lot of research on this, because if you're somebody like me, somebody could tell you need to raise your pricing, and unless they're in the industry or have experience with this, you're going to be like, well, maybe you don't really know what you're talking about. And that's kind of the way I felt about my husband. Now, my husband loves me dearly and I love him dearly. So I kind of thought like, well, you probably think I'm better than I am. Or, you know, I could tell him tomorrow that he should be making $1 million for his job. But if nobody in the industry is making that, then who am I to say that? Or that's obviously not true. So that's kind of like the crossroads where I found myself. I had clients that were even telling me like, you should raise your prices. My mom was telling me, family members were telling me, and I couldn't do it because I was like, I'm going to lose so many clients. So I did a ton of research, and something that I found that kind of stuck out to my head was, if you're getting ready to raise pricing, make sure that your book is packed with at least 130 services per month. So my husband advised me to make a spreadsheet of everything I was charging and every person, and I was charging so little that I couldn't even do a breakdown of per service. If they were getting more than one service done, I was literally just grouping it together and giving them like this random weird price that didn't even make sense and couldn't even be divided up into services because it was so little. It would have been like $5 for a haircut, $10 for highlights. Literally, it was so cheap, it didn't even make any sense at that point. So I started doing the spreadsheet, and I literally got sick to my stomach, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. It was just like super sad and discouraging, and this was still at the point where I was like, I'm not sure if I'm definitely going to raise my pricing. So one thing I would say to you guys is definitely go through and get a spreadsheet and see exactly how much you're charging everybody and break it down per service. If you do 130 services per month, and you're not where you want to be financially, then it is time to raise your pricing. So I went through my book, and I have a solid, not including people who just come in for haircuts, I have a solid over 50 clients, and every single client gets at least 3 services done in an appointment. Not a joke. So I blew out that 130 services per month, like blew it out. And this is just regulars. These aren't like people who come every 6 months or people who come yearly or weddings that I do. This was like legit. Something that I noticed with myself was I would work 12-hour days, wouldn't even have a lunch break, work through everything. My back would be hurting at the end of the day, and all that has nothing to do with my pricing. I'm just kind of putting this all into perspective for you guys. Wouldn't be able to have dinner with my husband, wouldn't be able to have lunch with my husband. I'd go in on days that I was off because I wanted to accommodate everybody and their discount pricing, and I would come home with like $200 a day. And if you like really do the math after my chair rental, because I rent a chair, I have to pay for my own product. I use L'Oreal, which is like literally the highest, it's like the top of the line in my opinion. That's why I use it, but it's also very expensive as a hair color line. I was literally making like minimum wage, and I live in New York, and I have a house that we did construction on, and I'm an equal financial partner in my marriage. So Daily, it was like, wow, I'm making money. Like, I'm coming home with like $200. I'm doing like 4 clients in a day. They're doing like 3 services each. I'm making money. Like, it's boom, boom, boom. And then, like, when you actually do the breakdown and you break down how much you're paying, how much you're charging per service, how much your color is, how much your booth rental is, how much time you're actually spending there, your quality of life, and then you're making minimum wage. Like, I could just get a regular 9 to 5 and make minimum wage and be off on Saturdays and not have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do a wedding. So it just kind of put everything into perspective for me. And I just thought, like, I need to raise my prices. I have a strong enough clientele book. And if I lose some people, it's okay. I don't advise this to many people, but I was giving such severe discounts that I actually, for some people, more than tripled their price. So what I did was any existing appointments that I had, I made a date. So it was July 1st, prices were being raised. And any existing appointments that were already made, obviously I would honor that price. I can't be like, I know you already made this appointment, but when you come in, your price is gonna be higher. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So I said I was gonna honor that. And up until July 1st, if you booked anything from June, the month of June, because is when I made the announcement, then you would you'd get the old pricing. So I did give everybody a fair chance to kind of like get in, get their appointments done, everything like that. And I remember saying to my husband, like, oh, but this person, like, you know, I've been doing their hair for this long, or this person, that person. And then you realize, like, it's business. You just have to look at your business as a business. I don't know why as hairstylists, maybe because we're on personal levels with people, but at the end of the day, it's a business. And my alternative was no longer do hair. I'd have to put down my scissors because I couldn't work 6 days a week anymore. I couldn't make minimum wage anymore. My quality of work was so far beyond that. I think I may have even been charging like some people less than what you'd go to like a Super Cuts or something like that, because I was like, well, this person's my friend and whatever. And I was so afraid to raise their pricing because I thought, well, they're my friend and I don't want to insult them. But then I thought, well, if you're really my friend, then you would come in and support my business if I raise my pricing. Or if you really like the way I do your hair and makeup, you'd come in and support my pricing even if I raise it. I can't base my business on friendships. That's not what a business is. A business isn't based on that. So that was something that was important to me that I had to conquer. I know I said that a turning point for me was when I was working 6 days, had 1 day off. It was Memorial Day weekend. I was working 6 days, had 1 day off, and then was working another 6 days. I was barely getting to see my husband. I was going in, obviously, on my days off and stuff like that. But the main thing that triggered this was one of the stylists at my job where I rent a chair. She also rents a chair. She came up to me and was like, you need to stop giving away your services for free. She's like, you need to know your worth. And you need to charge what you're worth. She's like, you're a top-notch stylist and you need to stop doing this. And I went home, I told my husband, and my husband's like, but this is what I've been telling you. And I'm like, I understand, but this is somebody who's like a veteran hairstylist. She's been in the industry for like ever, and she's coming up to me and she's saying that to me. Like, it just resonated with me. Like, even though some of my clients were like, you have to raise your pricing, and even though my husband was saying it, my family was saying it, when you get that, I don't know the word I'm looking for, when you get that from somebody else who you value their opinion in your field, or you could look at them as like a mentor or something like that, and you're like, you know what, I should raise my pricing. And if I lose clients, then I lose clients. No bad feelings, it is what it is. I don't offer a discount service. I don't offer a value service. I'm not a value brand, I'm premium, and I have to be that person across the board. So I did triple my pricing, and everybody was super supportive. I appreciate everybody supporting my craft, and I understand that this isn't something that would be for everybody, but if you're discounting your prices to get somebody in the door and you never then raise your prices from there, you're going to get disgusted. You're not going to want to do it anymore. You're not going to be making money. I was looking for part-time jobs because I was like, I need to make more money. Like, I need to be where I want to be. I'm not making enough money. When would I have gotten a part-time job? When I was working 6 days a week, followed by 1 day off, followed by 6 more days. Like, it just didn't make any sense. It just finally got to the point where I was like, I just need to rip this Band-Aid off and just know my worth. And I did this in a lot of ways. This wasn't just a price raise for me. I also broke up with clients that I needed to break up with, who didn't value me, who didn't value, you know, me as a person, my talents, my craft. You know, you just have to cut ties with people who don't value you. I was also doing freelance work with another artist who I'm so thankful for. She helped me out tremendously. I was getting a lot of work with her, not even in my state, in the next state over. So I would travel with her. We used to work at MAC Cosmetics together. That's how we met originally. And she has her own business, and she would use me for work sometimes as a hairstylist and makeup artist. And I had to cut ties with her. She taught me so much. I learned so much about the business through her. I worked so much with her, but you know what? It got to the point where I was getting so busy on my own, and she was booking me out so far in advance. I couldn't even, the dates were packed with her events that I had to do with her, and I wasn't able to build my own business, so I had to cut ties with that for that reason. Also, the mileage on the car, the gas, the time it would spend me to commute there. This was in another state. I had to cut ties because, you know, I might have made $300 for 5 hours, but that's not including my car ride, that's not including the tolls, that's not including the gas. I just kind of had to reevaluate everything that was going on in my life. Another thing that I did was I stopped my reselling. I don't know if you guys follow my channel or if you're on my channel for my reselling, but you guys know that I've been liquidating everything. I know I said in a vlog a while ago, like, why can't you be good at everything? Like, I don't understand why you can only do this or you can only do that. My dogs are being so annoying right now. But you know what? I cut down my schedule to 3 days a week. I am no longer doing reselling. Whatever I have left, I'm just pushing out. I'm focusing on my YouTube. I want to bring this to hair and makeup and everything like that. I raised my pricing. I cut ties with people who were not good for my business. I stopped with the freelance work because it wasn't worth my time anymore, and it was prohibiting me from building my own personal business. There were a lot of steps that I took that I did in the last couple of, you know, months and weeks, and I think most of it stemmed from knowing my worth. So if you're a stylist and you have a busy book, or you know, maybe you don't have that busy of a book, maybe you're just giving away your services for free and you're barely making profit on color services, or maybe you're, you know, these are things to consider. Like, this is a skill that you have. Somebody's coming to you for their skill. I don't think somebody's going to go to you because you're cheap if you're messing up their hair. Like, I don't think they're going to be repeat clients. They obviously are going to you because they like the value of your work. They think that you're good at what you do. They trust you with their hair. So, and if you're looking at somebody like, oh, well, I built this great relationship with this person and I don't want to lose them as a client. You know what? If they don't stay with you because you raise your pricing, then it obviously was just a business relationship and it no longer pleases them financially. So then you know what? You just got to cut ties. So how I actually found what I was going to charge people was I looked up prices in the area like where I live, which is very important. Make sure you do it in the area that you live, of course. And I pretty much found like the middle or the average price for each service, and that is where I got my pricing, because I was like, you know what? I can't go from charging people super discounted pricing to the most premium. And I know that my value is so much more than the lowest person in the area. So that's how I found that price, which is something I advise you guys to do. Just see what the going rate in the area is, and maybe get the average and do something like that if you think your skill level is there. I've never had a client come in who was like, you suck at doing hair, or who wasn't happy, or who didn't refer somebody. So I knew that my work was up there. So that is why I was like, you know, let me just find like the median. And then if people, you know, are looking for a cheaper alternative, they can go elsewhere. But that's how I found mine. And then how I actually broke the news to my clients was that I put it on my Instagram, I put it on my Facebook, and any emails that I had, I emailed everybody. And I just pretty much said, like, this is a new pricing across the board. You can find it on my website. Thank you for your business, everything like that. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, you're welcome to. It's linked below, and you guys will find that post on there where it pretty much just says, like, you know, thank you for your business, and prices are being raised across the board for everybody and everything like that. So it was just very much like that. And then also, before anybody booked their next appointment, so for example, I had somebody the other day in my chair, she had an appointment in June, and so she had the June pricing, and she always books for her next appointment, and she was like, I want to book in 7 weeks, and she's normally a 6-week client. And I was like, okay, I just want to make sure that you know that I raised my pricing. And she's like, yep, that's why I'm doing 7 weeks instead of 6 weeks. So I just want everybody to know ahead of time what's going on. And then at the time of her appointment, before we even start, I'm going to say, hey, single process is this, highlights are this, cut is this. Do you want to do everything today? Or just letting you know? Or I haven't really figured out how I'm going to do that, but just letting everybody know before they book their appointment. Like, just want to make sure that you know that I raised my pricing, because the last thing you're going to want is that awkward, after you're done with the services, be like, by the way, you owe me $250, and then be like, what? Last week I was paying you $80. So you got to just make sure that you like properly communicate that to people and just let them know before they book. Also, I have my assistant, who you guys know I pay her per booking. I still have her, which think about how crazy that is, that I was paying her and I was making like minimum wage. So it was just crazy. But I told her the price list and I let her know anybody who books in the future after July 1st, this is the pricing that you send them and everything like that. I have a feeling that what people are probably going to do is instead of getting everything done in one appointment, they'll probably break it out. Or like that woman I had mentioned, instead of coming every 6 weeks, she's going to come every 7 weeks just to push it out. Or maybe people won't come to me at all, and that is totally fine. No bad feelings whatsoever. This is the industry we're in, and that's that. So my advice is, if you want to take yourself more serious and just get to that next level, then that's what you do. Also, I don't go in on days off anymore. I am in the salon 3 days a week, which is what I originally was supposed to be in the salon. But then, like I said, I was working 6 days and stuff like that. I no longer travel to people. I was traveling for a while, and I wouldn't even charge them a travel fee. And it was barely even, I was just running my business into the ground, and it wasn't because of my skill level, or it wasn't because I didn't have clients, or it wasn't because I didn't have availability. It was just who I am as a person. It was just running my business into the ground. So first and foremost, if you're going to be a freelance hairstylist or any kind of hairstylist, you need to know that this is a business and you need to run it like a business. You can't run it as a friends and family supercuts, because you're never going to make it to where you want to go. There is so much money to be made in this business, and I only wish that I came to this realization sooner. So I hope if this video even resonates with one of you guys out there, I hope that you guys just, you know, sit down, take your book out, see how many clients you get, see how many services you do regularly in a month, put in a spreadsheet, see how much you're making per service, see how much that comes out to be per hour. I know it's kind of tricky if you're doing chair rental and stuff like that. It's kind of hard to like figure out exactly how much money you're making, but you could get a general idea of how much you're making and make sure it's above minimum wage. This isn't a job that you get out of college. This isn't a job that doesn't require a skill or a talent. This is a legitimate job. You are making somebody feel the way they want to feel. They're trusting you to put chemicals on their head. They're trusting you for the most important days of their life. They're trusting you to make them look good 365 days a year. This is a real job. So take yourself seriously, and then other people will take you serious. So there you go, guys. I hope you liked this video, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Until next time, work hard, dream big, eat cake. Bye.